I want to quickly talk to you about how to make a WordPress website. So this will be your quick guide when it comes to WordPress essentials. So here are the generalities I want you to think about. When you think about WordPress, I want you to think about a CMS. Okay, nothing else. It's just a CMS. WordPress is a content management system that allows you to do a lot of things. You can do with that CMS. You can host a website, you can build a website, you can publish websites, you can configure websites. You have a lot of you have a latitude as to how you want to set up your website. And WordPress also contains plugin architecture and a template system, so you can customize any website to fit your business, your blog, your portfolio, or online store. So whatever your goal is, whatever your target audience wants to see, WordPress allows you to really make it happen. But first, I want to explain to you WordPress.org versus WordPress.com versus WordPress VIP. Because if you are going to use WordPress, you better have a clear idea about what the difference really is. So WordPress.org, actually, when you go with the WordPress.org software, you host your own website. Okay, so you have a self-hosted WordPress sort of setup. So you can do so using a third-party hosting provider such as DreamHost, such as Bluehost. Okay, so you'll need to purchase web hosting and a domain name, install the WordPress software on your hosting, and then manage your site going forward. Okay. Now, while most web hosting services give you a lot of tools to make this easier, it's actually a more hands-on experience than WordPress.com. So when you go with WordPress.org, you have a DIY approach. What about WordPress.com? Well, here you have a more, let's say, a complete outsourced setup, because WordPress.com offers to actually host your website for you, more like a SaaS tool, right? Software as a service tool. You also don't need to download any software or manage a server. You can either use a WordPress.com subdomain for free, or you can actually pay to use your own custom domain name. Okay, so that's really good. And finally, for WordPress VIP, here you have the service hosting and managing WordPress for the biggest websites on the web. Okay, so the platform, I mean, for instance, if you think about the New York Times or the Washington Post, okay, the platform is built to meet the scalability challenges of the biggest media properties, the security requirements of major government agencies, and the implementation needs of the most sophisticated enterprise companies. So that's kind of important. Now, how do you choose between those three? WordPress.org, .com, or VIP? It depends on the kind of audience you want to reach to. But by far, the best is WordPress.com, because it gives you more freedom and more flexibility. So when it comes to making a WordPress website this year, let me give you the details here. You have to understand that there are a number of ways you can create your dream website with WordPress. But the whole idea here is to make sure that you are speaking to your audience, that you are actually providing the kind of value that your audience will want to see. Okay, so what you want to do first is that you want to select a WordPress plan, either WordPress.org or WordPress.com. Okay, so you want to set up your domain name and hosting provider. You want to install WordPress if you have to go with WordPress.com. You have to choose your theme. So the thing is that WordPress.com actually takes care of a lot of things for you, but they want you to really choose your theme yourself. And you also have to add posts and pages to your website. And then finally, customize your website. Here, I need to insist that you don't need to have any programming knowledge, because everything is done in a like a drag and drop building capacity. Don't forget to install plugins, and you want to optimize your website to increase page speed. Nowadays, I mean, a lot of folks are accessing websites via smartphones. So if your website is not optimized, you're going to lose traffic big time. Okay. So you want your website to load faster. You want your website to have all the elements that will kick off your SEO when it comes to the website visibility. And also, the cool thing is that you can get inspired from WordPress websites examples. You see a lot on the internet. So if you want to really launch a WordPress website, don't forget to actually set up your domain name. Domain name, you can actually it's just better to buy a domain name and have everything branded. You can install an SSL certificate. SSL stands for Secure Socket Layer. This will add an extra layer of encryption and data security to your site, and you need that. I don't care what industry you're in, you need that kind of security. You want to analyze your content, and don't forget to back up your site. Now, what I'm telling you here, if you go with WordPress.com, the backup is done automatically. It's done every 24 hours. So overnight, your content is backed up. Okay. So before you do anything, define your website goal, because the goal of your website will determine what kind of WordPress setup you want to have. Whether you have a business site, an online store, an affiliate, a membership site, an education website, a portfolio website, or a blog. I'm showing you on the screen here a short recap. You can see this on the screen by website type, the main goal, and the key features that you need. So one thing you need to understand here is that if you want to launch a website, let's say a WordPress website this year, you got to really start with a WordPress plan. If you go with WordPress.com, you got to have a plan. If you go you got to have a pricing tier. If you go with WordPress.org, you have more independence, more autonomy, because WordPress.org, you can really tweak things the way you want. But if you go with WordPress.com, you have to pay upfront. Okay, so one thing I want to say here is that if you use WordPress.org, you can skip ahead to the next step. So the first step is to select a WordPress plan. I'm showing you on the screen here the WordPress.com plan that you have as of the date of this show. You have a five preset plans. Okay, so the personal, the premium, the business, the commerce, and the enterprise. By the way, commerce stands for e-commerce. Okay, so if you're selling online and you want to really have a setup that's fitting the online commerce, like an online store setup, you want to go with commerce. If you have an enterprise need, if you are a large enterprise, go with the enterprise. So first thing first. So you want to select a WordPress plan on WordPress.com. Number two, you want to you want to set up your domain name and hosting provider. So that's really important if you are a WordPress.org subscriber, because if you go with WordPress.com, you don't need to actually have somebody. You don't have to select a hosting provider, because they do it automatically. So the process that I gave you a little earlier, those processes include hosting also. So WordPress.org, you set up your domain name and hosting provider. Okay, I'm showing you on the screen here a quick compare and contrast between WordPress.org and WordPress.com in terms of customization, in terms of hosting, in terms of plugins and themes, in terms of monetization, in terms of maintenance, and in terms of the suitability, what it is actually good for. So I want you to spend a few seconds on that front to see how how going either or can really help you, especially if you are trying to really provide value to your target audience. Next, if you want to make a WordPress website this year, you need to really install WordPress. So once you select the WordPress plan on WordPress.com or setting up your domain name and hosting provider, install WordPress. So if you are using your own WordPress hosting provider instead of WordPress.com, you gotta have your new domain to your website. So to make this as easy as possible, most web hosts offer a simple one-click WordPress installer tools. So that's kind of important, okay? And one thing I need to say here is that some WordPress hosting services will pre-install WordPress for you as part of the hosting account setup process. So that's kind of cool, because you're really saving a lot of time, okay? Now, so this is kind of cool. Now, let me give you a quick setup pattern here. So you want to really, like you can see on the screen here, you will see basically when you have the hosting platform, you will see the hosting platform on the dashboard. You want to click Add Sites, okay, or Install. That's the first screenshot. The second screenshot, you see Add Site here. You are able to understand that you have to choose the domain name that you want to connect to your site. After you click Continue, there will be a short wait while the platform installs WordPress for you. Here we have an example that's actually coming from Bluehost, but it can be DreamHost, Aweber, or GoDaddy. I mean, the setup is actually pretty similar across all platforms. So once the installation process finishes, you will see an option to log into WordPress which will take you to your WordPress dashboard. So that's the dashboard where you control everything from. You see all the possibilities when it comes to your WordPress website. So, and what I want to say here is that basically you can see on the screen here, okay, but the process will look slightly different if you are using another WordPress host, but the basic steps will be the same, okay? That's really important. So whether you go with Bluehost, again, Rocket.net, well, you web host, or I mean Blue, whatever it is. So that's really important to keep this in mind. Next, you want to choose your theme. So basically, you can customize your WordPress website design using WordPress's many themes and templates, each of which contains a multitude of layouts, formatting styles, colors, fonts, and other visual options. The thing here is that you have to really ask yourself, what kind of content are you publishing? Are you publishing a gallery like photos and videos? Are you publishing text, mainly text? Are you publishing infographics? And what kind of audience are you speaking to? Well, what are the psychographics of your target audience? Okay, if you're talking to an audience that's 18 to 35, for instance, you're not going to have the same branding as if you're talking to an audience in their 60s. So that's important. The cool thing here is that on WordPress, you can find thousands of free or paid themes. So you are almost certain to find a design that you like. Okay. And so generally, you can customize most WordPress themes by going to Appearance, then Customize. Okay. And that's really cool. And you are also able to get things done faster, especially when it comes to getting the branding done through the templates. Next, you want to add posts and pages to your websites. So when you add content to your WordPress websites, it's usually displayed in the form of posts and pages. So you are looking at posts. You want to use this when you want to create blog posts or other similar content. New posts will automatically appear at the top of your blog listing page, and each post will have its own published date. So that's for posts. And next, you also have pages. So these are better for static content that doesn't have a published date. For example, your about page, contact page, and so on. There is no default page that lists all of your pages, but you can add links to them using your site's navigation menu or other areas. Everything depends on how you really want to really set up your websites, okay? And if you want to add a post to your website, go to the admin dashboard, click posts. You can see on the screen here, click post, and then add new post. The thing is that the flexibility is kind of important because you are able to change things, to tweak things around, okay? And you are also able to look at how your dashboard is communicating to you. What kind of traffic are you generating based on the pages? Next, you want to customize your website, your WordPress website. And customization is key if you are trying to really, let's say, appeal to a certain audience, okay? So beyond the theme you choose, there are a number of ways to further customize your website. This is where you have a lot of flexibility, okay? And everything happens on your dashboard. You have to go to the settings and general. So here you have to choose what you want. Now, by default, WordPress will display your latest blog post on your site's homepage. And if your website is not a dedicated blog, you'll probably want to show a static homepage instead, especially if your audience loves it, okay? And you can also customize your WordPress site's navigation menu, which can help your visitors to easily find information on your website. So that's important. And so you want to add a navigation. Sorry about that. You want to add a navigation menu by going to your admin dashboard, clicking Appearance, and then Menu. So you can see on the screen here how the whole setup actually looks like. One thing I want to say here is that when it comes to Appearance and menus, it's all about the let's say the harmony you want to have on your website, on your WordPress website. Harmony in terms of branding, harmony in terms of content, harmony in terms of how you want the information to flow, and harmony in terms of how you want to resonate vis-a-vis your audience. Do you want to really make sure that people are able to put comments below your text, your blog articles, or your whatever you have? That's important because it helps you cultivate a deeper tie with your visitors, with your website visitors, especially if you want them to take action later on. Let's say you want to turn visitors into customers through a series of actions, right? So you want to have you want to have a CTA that's properly that's prominently shown on a specific page, so that your call to action can be seen let's say predominantly. And you can also you can really make your navigation menu look in a certain way, how many pages you want to include, also what you want to title those pages, and what order you want them to be listed in. Everything depends on the kind of a setup you want to have. Okay, now the exact design of your navigation menu will depend on your WordPress theme, okay, because every theme is different. Of course, this is just a fraction that you can do in the dashboard. Okay, you have a lot more flexibility depending on the exact setup that you have. Next, you want to install plugins. So if you want to make a WordPress website, plugins are going to be quite essential for you, because plugins are going to add an extra layer of professionalism to your site, and that's going to help you big time in the long run. Okay, and here I shared with you a few plugins, but this is just a small number. Okay, WordPress has over 60,000 free plugins. You have paid plugins, but also free plugins. Okay, for instance, you have HubSpot WordPress plugin, you have all-in-one SEO, the events calendar, Yoast SEO, table price. You have the SEO framework, and you have a Weglat. So you do have a lot of possibilities. Now, to install a new plugin, you want to head to the plugin section of your admin dashboard. And this shows you all the plugins currently installed on your site. Just make sure you don't have that many plugins though, because plugins actually slow down your site. So if you have like 1,000 plugins versus 10 plugins, your site's speed is going to your load speed is going to suffer. Okay, so depending on your host, you might have several plugins installed already. So that's important. Note that for a plugin to work, you must activate the plugin after installing. So to add a new plugin, click the Add a New Plugin button, or go to the Plugins and then Add New Plugin. Search for your desired plugin, and then click Install Now. With a few seconds, then click Activate. So once you click Activate, you are able to get things, you have to get the ball rolling here. And so for plugins that are not listed in the WordPress.org plugin directory, you can also upload a zip file by clicking the Upload Plugin button at the top. And you will typically use this approach if you purchase a premium plugin directly from the developer. Next, you want to optimize your website to increase page speed. So page speed is important if you want. I think I've said this before. You do not want to lose traffic. So page speed, especially if people are accessing your website through their mobile phones, right? You want them to access your pages faster. And you can also get inspired by WordPress website examples. Okay, I want to share with you a few examples. So you have the Houston Zoo, the Houston Zoo's website. So you can see on the screen here, fantastic Houston Zoo, and you also have an awesome motive. That's actually the creator behind several WordPress projects. So they engage visitors with a polished yet simple website. You can see this on the screen. Fantastic also, especially from a scalability point of view. That's really great. Let me give you a few top hacks before I close to this conversation. So if you are thinking about making a WordPress website this year, there are a few tips and tricks you need to keep in mind to actually further, let's say, develop your ties with your visitors. You want to use dashes and not underscores. So when naming your files, use dashes and not underscores. Google looks at underscores as joiners, meaning your file will look like one big word. That will not help you with your SEO. So use dashes to make it obvious there are separate words. If you built your website with WordPress.com, use its online support. Okay, so that's it. That's going to help you also big time. You want to back up and update your website regularly. Backups sound like extra work until you hit a technical roadblock and need a hard refresh. So if you ever lost access or have technological difficulties, you have everything you need to completely restore your content. You also need to understand SEO big time. I mean, I'm not asking you to become a specialist with SEO, but you have to understand the rudiments of SEO, right? The basic knowledge about SEO is going to help you big time. So learn and understand SEO basics to ensure that your website is completely optimized so you can boost your conversions. Research which keywords you want to rank for and use them throughout your copy. You can even start a blog so you can share your knowledge while improving your ranking. So beyond that, make the most of multimedia. So image or alt text on photos can give you an extra boost. Visuals and video content can also break up the content of, the text rather, on your website pages. You want to create a custom homepage, okay? Because WordPress will provide you with a default homepage, but take the time to create your own with a theme that works for your business. Remember that your visitors' first impression of your business, blog, or portfolio is going to be your website. These days, is the website. You want to include an about us page on your websites, okay? Because your customers want to know who you are. That's where your about us page comes in. Show your visitors that you are a trustworthy person and or business. So about us pages are known to be one of the most visited pages on websites after home pages. So introducing yourself is kind of important, and make the most of your blog post. Consider your website, your site looks like on mobile. And finally, pick a CRM that works with your WordPress site if needed. So a CRM can do a lot of things for you. It can help you keep track of the way users are interacting with your website and company, and you have the opportunity to see what others actually are doing in your niche. By the way, CRM stands for Client Relationship Management, so that's important. So in closing today's conversation, I spoke to you about how to make a WordPress website. I give you the generalities, the details, and now the top hacks. Thank you so much. God bless you. I will see you next time. Until then, remember, stay marvelous.